Okay, so it's 8:30. Okay, we've made it to a second night. How are you all feeling? Great? Yeah?
But bad and good.
Bad and good? Bad and good? Yeah? Mm. How's your flotus for the ones who are new to this?
Okay. My experience from the first time.
Uh-huh.
It's how to say intense.
Intense. Mm.
Have the pain, but also have ecstasy.
Mm.
What are you selling? Ecstasy. Pure, not drug. Sorry.
Okay. I didn't really. I want to see how you're doing and if you have any questions for second night. This is the second instructional talk, and depends on where you are. Cultivation is Master's already said it's not meant to be easy. And our style of cultivation is to strive to improve. Therefore, we give you something where you haven't, we tell you to get to somewhere that you haven't experienced before. That's why we kind of said, this is where you want to go. And if you want to improve to the next level where you really don't know what it is yet until you start working harder for it. And cultivation it's about being vigorous. That's one of the key terms. So being vigorous is not really about that, I have to keep pushing for myself, but for myself to keep going. It's not that you have to push yourself to work so hard that you don't have room to take a break, but it's about not giving up. So the ones that are still here right now are the ones that hasn't given up yet and are still here. So good job. It's about just survive another day. And sometimes when you're crossing your legs, it's about just surviving another minute. Okay. And that's called being vigorous and then being having success in cultivation. Because a lot of times our tendency is to see that we want to see what it will get to us in order for us to do the hard work. Like when you're working for your jobs, you kind of were trained, so you know that what kind of result you will get in the end, right? So that's why you say, if I do this, you already saw that if I do what I do the next step, I can get to where I am. But here in cultivation, we just say sit longer. And you don't know where you will be, but it's about just being consistent and stuck it out and not worry about what will happen and not worry about what kind of result I will get, but just kind of saying, I don't want to give up at this moment. So it's about not thinking about what I will gain, but more about not giving up in the moment. So I want to point that out because a lot of people, in school, we were trained to get somewhere. Like when you get in the car driving, you know that you will get to somewhere. That's why you're used to doing those things. Okay. But in cultivation, it's about just having faith is to believe that this is not giving up is the right thing. And just keep going. Okay, that's first thing I want to point it out. Okay, so we survive one day at a time. Okay, anything you want to share, or there's anything new in your meditation today that you want to talk about, or any questions? Yes.
How do we keep motivated to keep going if you
Keep
only...
motivated.
Yeah.
So we're telling you that this is once, if you don't give up, eventually you will get to a point that you'll experience something that you never experienced before. You will experience clarity that you've never experienced before. And like when you're meditating, when you start crossing your leg, for example, the energy that starts coming out and start blocking your blockages, that while it's doing that, it's painful. But once it's unblocked, you should feel that you're healed, that your body feels better. So maybe for you, you've been doing this for 2 days so far.
I came last year as well.
You came last year. And you came back.
Yeah.
So what's the difference this time? Do you feel anything?
But did you keep practicing?
Sometimes, yeah. And
Sometimes.
then, after a couple of months, I went to a Vipassana retreat and I started doing that, which also involved sitting. So I applied a bit of Shan training to sit. So I've been doing that throughout the last year. A bit of Shan and a bit of Vipassana. The progress is hard to see, but I think there's something, but it's so light, I don't really understand if there's progress, or it's just the fact that I sit for so many hours throughout the last year just naturally makes me a calmer person, because I'm sitting when normally I would be doing some kind of action. So my body and my mind are now more used to be in a stillness mode. So that's kind of biological, I guess. So I really can't feel the progress spiritually, I guess.
But how did you, like, for example, you still decide to come back, right? You knew you were gonna facing pain. Right. Why? But you can go to a lot of different meditations, correct? You have a lot of choices, no?
Yeah, I tried.
And then you try to come back to here where we say cross your legs. Yeah.
Because
Why?
it's a nice opportunity close to home.
Okay, that's reasonable. Right. Okay. And it's free. Okay.
And other people are nice, so
Okay. And anything else?
the practice has some merits.
You know. Okay.
If anything, I get a better sitting posture.
Do you feel you sit better than last year?
Yes.
But then again, you did attend the Vipassana, so...
So at Vipassana, do they require you to sit in lotus as well?
No, not lotus, but on the ground, which was good anyways for me, because in the first days there was back pain, and then after like 3 or 4 days there was no more back pain.
Do you sit all day?
Yeah.
No, just like
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 hours a day.
It's not exactly just that. It's almost 10 hours a day.
Yeah, it's almost 10 hours. Only 3 are mandatory, but it's usually 8 to 10 hours a day.
And not talking.
And no talking.
Not talking.
Well,
No communication at all. Yeah.
Oh, okay. For how many days?
10.
10? Oh. So you sit about almost 10 hours a day for 10 days and no talking?
It's like 8 hours a day, then
8
1
hours.
hour talking with the teachers, and then 1 hour instructional review.
So by the end of the Vipassana retreat, did the teacher say give you some kind of validation that you've made it, or like you did a good job, or?
Well, if you go talk to them at the scheduled hours can tell them about your progress, and they're saying if you're progressing or not. So it's individual. Each person decides if they want to check in their progress with the teachers or not.
Okay.
But
So
it's
did
not compared with you. It's not compared with with you guys here, because the teachers there, at least the ones I've been with, I don't find them. I mean, they're competent for a little bit of that. I struggle a lot with those as teachers because they're lay people that learn the system, the Vipassana system, and are there to support the students in a way. But,
I see.
yeah.
Okay. I see.
But I did find it very useful with my posture to maintain my posture and to be able to pass the pain threshold, because we are there for those 10 days making that effort, and you're just with yourself. It's not a get together or social gathering, so you go inside very deep and all that. But then I find a lack of a proper support. It's my vision from the ones I did, at least.
And one thing to add from my perspective is that the end message I received from this was, okay, now you did something good for 10 days, you have to sit for 2 hours a day in order not to regress anymore, and you will only make progress if you come back. So that's kind of the message I received.
From the Vipassana retreat? Okay.
Well, I did not get that message, but they do insist that you practice 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, to keep on going, not losing it. Yeah.
So what do you suggest in the Shan way to do after these 3 days?
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. So, did you feel you were at a better place compared to 10 days before, before you joined the 10 days before the Vipassana retreat? You felt calmer, or you do feel calmer? A little bit, okay. And then did you go back and practice, and then, or you feel that gradually you kind of go back to?
Myself. Well, I continued to practice as instructed, and I felt that the everyday life was still messy, and then I would crave to sit and have my peace, be by myself, and I would just kind of restore some sort of semblance of balance after this 1 hour sit. And I would actually prefer to withdraw from people because I felt that they were too much trouble, because I wanted to just sit by myself. That's what happened to me.
Okay.
I didn't like that part.
Oh, you didn't like that part.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were kind of, once you go back home, you felt like the environment's too much for you. You'd rather stay alone, and then to find that peace. Okay. I see.
To me, it's like, I feel like those moments give me a boost to keep coming to the busy world. To say, I do need those moments away from everything to recharge a little bit more, and then, but I am able to continue practicing it for some time afterwards. Like last year when I left here, I was able to keep on practicing a little bit, but then let it slide one day, let it slide a little bit, then 1 hour becomes half an hour, then half an hour becomes 15 minutes. And to me, it's the discipline. Because I do find the benefits a lot when I do it regularly. I even find the benefits in my animals that I am, because they get much more stable as well. And that's very clear. It's just cultivating the discipline to the motivation I have. It's just the discipline to,
Okay.
with the busy life, with the long hours and all that.
Life gets in the way. Yes. How about you?
What part?
After 10 days, do you feel calmer?
Yeah.
And then felt much better. And then did you continue to practice at home? Okay. And then did you feel you kind of lose the peace, or you can maintain it?
I gradually started doing less throughout the months, following months, but very gradually. So I went back to just breath awareness meditation. I
Aware.
wanted to find the focus, just focus on one thing instead
Okay.
of the whole body,
Okay.
which is the Vipassana system.
Okay.
I was able to do it, but I was still running thoughts in my mind, even while doing it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was multitasking.
Okay. So with our style practice, you do have to maintain it as well when you go home, and then do 1 hour, at least 1 hour a day. But during the retreat, we recommend you to push through, so you could sit an hour and a half from last time you came to us, right? Since last time, you said you could sit an hour and a half, correct?
I usually do 1 hour, but I managed to push one time
To 1 hour and a half. In full lotus?
No.
Half lotus.
Yeah.
Okay. So normally we want to push you to do more, and then each time. So for example, you could do 1 hour and a half, and then we will want you to do more than 1 hour and a half. Like your goal for this time will be a little bit more to help you increase and improve in that sense, okay, during the retreat. And once you go home, you can sit for 1 hour every day in the posture, and it's supposed to help you maintain, okay, in your posture. How do you motivate yourself to keep going? You have to see it as an investment in your life to keep doing this, because it's you will see that if you can't meditate for a while and then you don't do it for a while, naturally you can feel the difference. Like you can feel that if you just don't do it, you start feeling a lot more. Your anxiety will come back a lot easier. Your mood gets out of control a lot easier. So therefore, being in the retreat helps you get to somewhere in a state that you feel more peaceful, but you naturally can see the difference once you get out of retreat, that you don't do it for a while, that you are not in that state anymore, okay, which is normal, because when our mind starts thinking and rolling, it drains our energy more, and then we kind of reverse back to where we were, where we had our greed and anger and stupidity. That's what Buddhism is about. So therefore, it's like working out. Like when you go to the gym and then you're motivated, you feel better every day. But there are days you just don't want to go to the gym. You just don't want to do the workout. And you gradually, if you don't do it for a while, you start losing that losing your muscle and losing that power that you gain from the exercise. So consider this as like a mental fitness that you do every day. So in that way, like what she says, it's the discipline, right? Sometimes you just don't want to do it. So you.
I kind of want to do it, but there's so many other things that I also need to attend to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's stupid.
To me, it's more a priority issue. Like where you see that all those other things that happens in life are more important to attend to. Like they have a urgency, right? This one is like, no one is keeping you in check, right? But what I'm trying to say is that if you see this as an investment of your time, okay, that if you invest the time in every day, and it helps you to improve, and once you improve to more and you meditate more, you find that, for example, you can work less, you work faster, okay, then you actually have more time. So because you can finish your work earlier, you're more productive. And then if you don't do it today, you can go home and try it for yourself, experience for yourself. You don't meditate, you might start feeling more sluggish, and then you,
That's exactly it.
yeah.
If I skip my meditations, it's like life catches up with me, and I get very.
Correct.
I need more time, more sleeping hours. I
Correct.
get more. It's.
Correct.
I'm
So
all over the place, more scattered. I lose myself. I want to do that, and whatever comes in the way gets distracted. And it's not. Yeah, I know that.
right. So it's about conditioning yourself to kind of put it in your schedule as like eating, like as you eat, as how you exercise regularly. So every day you put in 1 hour, just so that you maintain your life and functions. Yes.
Is it like you always have to improve, so go longer and longer and longer? Like, what if for you 1 hour per day works and you do this for half a year? Or
yes, you don't have to. You don't have to. Improving it is because this meditation can take you, I think I mentioned before, take you in your spiritual growth, to a spiritual journey, to a higher level. So therefore, improvement is the thing where, for some people who are striving for higher samadhi levels, then it's kind of like a system upgrade. When you go to the next level, you can, it's like how your software, you keep upgrading yourself, you find yourself think faster and have more stamina, and you spot problems faster, and you have, eventually you will have more wisdom.
you get it when you sit longer?
Yes, yeah. Sit longer, no, it's more blessings actually. So sit longer is an expedient to help. It's a faster way to get there. It's more like a way that you don't have to think about. But if you can do, like for example, bowing and other things, that helps you to improve. And not necessarily have to sit. Like listening to Dharma talk can help you as well. Okay. So therefore, sitting is something where you can maintain your clarity and restore your balance. That's why we ask you to sit 1 hour a day. So that's what I urge you to invest your time in your day. Like for example, I learned to sleep less actually, because when I start meditating more, I find myself don't have to sleep as much. Then I learned to just get up 1 hour earlier in the beginning when I first started practicing, and then just put that 1 hour in. So instead of sleeping, I kind of just get up and then cross my legs. And even though I'm falling asleep, I still try to cross my legs. And after a while, it becomes automatic. And sometimes when I'm eating, I just cross my legs. Whenever I sit down, watch TV, I just sit on the floor instead of on the sofa, you know, and then even the chairs when I work. So that's how I learned to do more. Like I just incorporate it in my daily lives if I can. And then even when you're driving, when you do like long distance driving, you can put out one leg. You can try that, seriously.
Because we have automatic self-medication.
Ah, your drive sticks? Actually, you can try that when you do a long trip. You find yourself are less tired, and especially when you're sleeping, if you're falling behind the wheels, and then you put up one leg, you won't fall asleep as like how you normally do. So you can try that. So that's another way that you can utilize your time better. Okay. And a lot of our people do that, or like if they they sit in front of their desk, they just pull up their legs and then just work like that. If they don't have time to sit in 1 hour.
It's is a problem because when it starts to hurt, you cannot focus on what you're doing.
Right.
Because I tried it, it happened to me.
I tried also.
So just keep at it. Over time you can, actually. Over time. There is that period of time that it becomes a problem that, oh, it hurts, or it can't work. But if you just keep at it, don't think about it, and then after a while you go, oh, wow, I can just do this for 2 hours. And then I can do this for 3 hours. Some people just sit there and then it doesn't bother them. And they actually find themselves more productive.
Because you were talking about the dada talks, and would it be okay to squeeze kind of half an hour of sitting and then the rest listening to a dada talk, and kind of, if I can't stay the full hour just like that, and all that, try to, or do I have to stay 1 hour, or can I put like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there?
So 1 hour
It's
is
different, I know.
1 hour is the minimal continuously, which is you will get most out of it. If you can just spread it out, just try your best. And sometimes you can sit 1 hour and just listening to Dharma talks. So that will help you as well. Yeah. So that's mostly what you can do. Sometimes people just listen to the Dharma talks, and by listening to the Dharma talks, it gives you more clarity and wisdom and directions of where you want to go. And it helps you look at yourself better, because by listening to somebody telling you what's going on, that you actually would reflect in yourself. So that also helps you to improve and gain more wisdom that way.
When I left last year, I started doing it because I couldn't sit properly, way too much pain, and I found out that if at least I was distracted listening to a Dhamma talk, I could endure it a little bit more. So I kind of cheated a bit that way. But
yes, you can also, you can do that together, actually. Okay. And Dharma talks and listening to Dharma talks actually gives you more energy, because it's Master's talking actually kind of helps you, like with his voice of presence, that it will help you better too as well. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So being vigorous, one thing, and then the second thing is to want to know that having enduring pain is also to help you endure. It's called the endure suffering is to end suffering. So there is another concept where when you are enduring, remember we talked about how you endure to a point where the pain will lessen. You will get to a point where you start understanding that, of course, you have to kind of endure enough that the pain will actually is just a concept. Okay, you could separate yourself from feeling pain. So there's two concepts. One is the mental pain, and one is the physical pain. So when you're meditating, you can start seeing that a lot of times when we react to our pain, we're adding more negativity, so it becomes more painful. So if you can just look at your pain without reacting, so it's actually not that bad. You know you can endure it. But it's your mind that complains, it says that, oh, this is too much. Why is that I have to do this? Or I hate it. And then that's the emotion that you're adding towards sitting. Okay, that's what it makes you sitting harder. So that's another.
Also complaining, right?
Yeah, it's actually your mind that complains. And after you could sit to over 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, then you start feeling that, okay, sometimes after like for us, we can sit for a long time now, sitting gets kind of boring, which is our mind also complains. So a lot, in the end, it will get to a point where you're not dealing with your physical pain, but you're actually dealing with your mind that sits there and says, I don't like this. Okay. So yeah, exactly. Your mind finds a way to get out of it. Huh? How long do I sit? Yeah, normally I don't sit much nowadays. But basically, once you could push through the pain barriers, like for example, the first hour you try to sit, actually it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And then you're like, oh, I'm just trying to, sometimes your mind will say, oh, I'm just trying to sit there and put the hours in. Okay. And then that's where your mind starts tricking you for giving up and then telling you that I have better things to do. Okay. And that's where it gets more interesting, that you can observe how your mind will complain and then urge you to do something that it likes and it feels more comfortable. Okay. And that's when you get there, then you will see that how it progresses, how your mind has been progressing, and how most of your stress is coming actually from how your mind reacts to things. Okay. So that's the second part of it. So practice Chan is about reducing your ego, because it's actually your ego is telling you, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay. And it's about learning to do things that doesn't feed to your ego, where your ego is in front of your original self that actually has the most wisdom. And then your ego is driven by so-called the desires, your desires, and there's our existence has greed, anger, and stupidities. So your ego is often being confused by those components. So while you cross your legs, learning to improve as your samadhi grow higher, your ego will start shrinking more and more. Therefore, that self that has the wisdom will come out more. Okay. And then you start becoming more in tune with that actual self of yours. So that's more the concept of practicing, where as your samadhi goes higher, you can start feeling that whenever you cross your legs, you become less angry. And then if you're confused by certain situations, when you cross your legs, you can gain clarity through sitting. Okay. And that's a journey that for you to practice. That's why this is a way to help to keep yourself in check and then to reduce stress in this way. Okay. Any questions?
When you say that look into the pain and you are not trying to add negative thoughts into the pain, what is the narrative that we have mentally because look into the pain, it's very abstract, you know, like sometimes we not negative, we try to positive, like this doesn't hurt, telling myself this doesn't hurt, you know, like with no narrative associated to that, seems like I'm jumping into those negative or positive. I don't know if I'm jumping to negative thoughts or positive thoughts. To I don't know if neutral is possible in some way, practical way.
This is when you practice to be neutral, actually. So you when the pain comes, you learn to look at it and then say, there you are. And then your mind says, I don't like it. And then you learn to ignore that thought of I don't like it.
It's ignoring.
Yeah. So it's to not do anything, do nothing. Do nothing about that thought. So basically don't listen to it. So when your mind says I don't like it, or and then you go, oh, it's increasing, oh, it's decreasing, oh, now it hurts more, that's you're reacting to it. So you learn to just says, okay, there you are, and I can accept you. I can accept the pain. There's time where your mind keeps saying that, I don't want the pain to continue grow. And then when is it gonna go away? Guanyin Pusa, that's also like fighting and then wanting to go away. But if you just said, okay, I can look at you and then I'm just gonna embrace you here, okay? That's having another thought, but you just learn to watch it.
So you acknowledge the pain.
You acknowledge the pain and don't
you ignore this thought.
right. Ignore any thoughts that says I want you to go away, or I want you to reduce, or what did I do in my past life to get this? Things like that. You have all sorts of reaction towards it. Yes.
I think I'm a little bit attached to let the pain go, but I feel a little bit. I listen to conversations like relax. Let it go. It's bad too.
Right. Try not to do that. Yeah. So you can take a deep breath instead sometimes, but don't have to say, relax and then it's okay or something like that. But you just say, oh, you're there. Okay. Just acknowledge that, oh, you're there. It's not that bad, actually. So you just say, okay, it's there. I can coexist with you. Okay. It's kind of like the attitude says, I can coexist with you. Okay. Instead of being scared, being afraid. And a lot of time there's a deeper fear. That's why we can't continue. We don't want to continue. But it's kind of acknowledge that it's there and then don't have to be fearful of it. Okay. So it's your attitude of saying that, okay, I would just coexist with you for a while. Okay. And then you do that, you're okay for a while, and then it will come again. It will become more intense. And then you say, okay, I can coexist with you for a while. Okay. So I tried many different things when I sit longer. Like I just train myself. I say, okay, how about I just recite Great Compassion Mantra for another minute? Okay, so I'll coexist you for another minute more. And then after 1 minute pass, I'll go, okay, I'm still here. I want to unbuckle, but I'm not going to. And maybe I'll just focus in my dantian. And then sometimes it hurts even more. And then I said, well, then I'm going to recite again, or I'll listen to Dharma talk. So I do things to distract myself, but mainly don't until you pass through the pain barrier, then it's easier for you to observe your thoughts. So initially, if you can just sit longer to pass the pain barrier, then you will feel the difference. That's why we encourage you to just sit longer to pass first, and then see how it goes. Yes.
How many pain barriers are there?
That we want to know.
There's actually easier. There's 3. Depends on for most people. Okay, there are some exceptions, but there's 3 minimal basic. One is around about an hour, between an hour and a half, an hour to an hour and a half. And then there's the second one between 2 hours and a half and 3 hours. And there's another one at 3.5 hours. Okay. And then after that, if you can sit past maybe 4 hours, around 4 hours and 5 hours. Some of you have said 5 hours before. You actually can sit. If you can sit past 5 hours, you can sit longer. You can sit up to 10 hours and 12 hours. Okay.
In
Yes.
a row?
Huh? In a row.
Without going for a pee?
Yes. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that's a different, so you can, for long sits, you have to plan not to drink that much water. Yeah. So, yeah.
Because when I see you guys sitting, it's like, oh, once I get to full lotus, it's going to be all bliss. But then I'm talking at dinner time, they were saying, no way. She was saying, I sat for 5 minutes and it was like, and I'm like, so when is this going to end?
Everyone is different, you know, so
Just to try.
yeah, you need to try for yourself. Right. Correct. Yes.
I also want to say that maybe it can help you because it helped me. The first time I went to a retreat in China, I saw Stefan like screaming like crazy and crying a lot. So when you cannot, for me, it's like when I cannot recite any mantra or when I cannot hear it, Rama talks anymore, I just scream, like explodes. And some people here know, and my neighbors know as well.
So you endure it, but you scream and all that.
Yeah, so it's also okay to like scream a lot. That's why I want to scream and cry and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no one's doing that this time. We were used to it. Yeah. For people to scream, actually. Yeah. Yes.
Do we need to believe in something for this meditation to work? Like religiously speaking or something?
Believing in not giving up in a way. Yeah.
Religiously speaking.
Religiously speaking, you mean believing the Buddha? More believing in the instructions that's given to you. Just believing that you can get to that level by enduring the pain. That will help. You don't have to really believe in the Buddha. You don't have, for Chan to work, you don't have to really believe in anything higher power. But believing in the higher power, for example, will help you because you can recite Buddha's name and to help you. Or Guan Yin, and then that, when you recite Guan Yin's name or Buddha's name, it's invoking their power to help you. So that involves believing in them. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Then if you don't believe, you shouldn't recite because you're wasting your time?
No, you can try to recite, but then if you don't believe in it, why are you reciting it?
Because they're the instructions.
Then that's believing in the instructions. So they're kind of the same.
Following the instructions.
Following the instructions, yes.
Not necessarily believing, it's trying something out.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Yeah. But in order for you have to believe in something for you not to give up, because you can follow the instructions, but you give up prematurely. Correct?
You can follow the instructions.
Yeah, for example, sit, right? But then we said try 1 hour.
Sit longer.
Yeah.
The
And then,
yes.
right? So you have to believe that not giving up is beneficial for you.
That's the main instruction, I guess.
Right.
Usually the answer is sit longer.
Right.
You have to just believe sit longer.
Yes.
Will fix everything.
Yes.
Which,
Yes.
the same instruction over and over again.
Over and over again, yes.
You kind of maybe, lose faith in it because it's the same instruction over and over again.
But have you sat long? Yes. 1 hour and a half?
Well, I started at 30 minutes, then 35 and 40.
And
Same instruction over and over
And
I lost faith.
you lost faith. Okay. What do we do about this?
But do you get benefits?
You're like, when am I gonna feel better?
Don't you get benefits from sitting longer? Don't you sense some benefits surrounding your life when you sit longer?
Not really.
We already talked about this.
Huh?
We already talked about this earlier. I said the progress was
Right.
kind of gradual, but then I said because since I spent so many hours sitting, then just my physical body is more used to sitting, so it's usually more calmer. So it's something biological speaking.
So let's talk about this retreat. How long have you sat? How long did you, what's the longest? What's the longest you sat this retreat?
This retreat?
This one. 1 hour? Okay. And then what happened at 1 hour?
Got up and walked a bit. Relief that it was over as usual. The contrast between pain and relief, tension and relief.
Did you feel any different? I think you need to do a lot more. Yeah. Tomorrow you still have time.
What is it?
To do longer.
I need to do longer.
Yes.
Got it.
No. Seriously, to 1 hour and a half like last time. Yeah. So 1 hour is not there yet because you did 1 hour per session, one session, one day, right? For out of throughout 24 hours, you did the most 1 hour. Did you? And then the rest are just kind of less than 1 hour. Yes. Yeah. So still, the magic point is the pain barrier. You know, I'm a little torn now because Master kind of want us to not push people to do full lotus anymore, and then let people, but then people will be like, then why am I meditating? I don't feel the difference, you know. So normally once you can sit in full lotus, we sit with you to push through the pain barriers. So I was not there with him, so I don't know how far, but from what I see is that he's at the point where he needs to break through that pain barrier again. Yes.
I read somewhere that 1 hour in full lotus is equal maybe to 10 hours sitting like normal as a difference in power. So the sitting longer in a normal position, 1.5 hour, if you could, it's like 10 to 1 in power. I read that one.
Just a comment. He after the retreat, last year he complained about something different in his knee. So we
they suggested to take it easy.
he was saying the knee is different.
Okay. What was the difference?
The left knee just became like weaker or wobbly or something.
Wobbly.
Different.
I see. When you walk?
No, it's really rare to notice it. Maybe sometimes when I get up with just one leg, it's rare the occasions where it's relevant, but it's there, like a difference.
And it's still there?
Yes.
Like it never gotten better?
Well, after the first 2 or 3 weeks, it got better, but then it just stayed, something stayed there.
Okay.
Different.
Okay. All right. And so from the last retreat, that's been 1 year, right? Yeah. Does it affect when you walk?
No, it doesn't affect it almost nothing at all.
Okay.
Just I feel it sometimes. Oh,
There's something different.
Something, maybe after doing squats or something, I feel the left knee is not as good as
Not as good.
Slightly weaker or something.
Slightly weaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, so then we told him to rest, take it easy.
Rest for a couple of weeks.
And that's after you did 1.5 hours.
No, that was the first retreat last year. I did 1 hour.
You did 1 hour. And then
after like several months, I resumed.
And
tried
then you.
one session 1 hour 20, 1 hour.
Okay.
Usually it was 50 minutes, 1 hour. Usual
I
sessions,
see.
usual sessions.
Okay.
40 minutes to 1 hour.
Yeah, I need to. We should. So, how about today? Like when you were sitting here, how long did you sit? Like earlier today, we were sitting together. I think it was 45 minutes today. And then longest. Okay. Once after you get up, do you feel any difference in your needs?
What do you mean?
Like, does it feel worse or better?
No, it's just the same. The usual
Okay. Maybe it's not a big issue, but I have to, normally in that case, I have to we continually monitor as he sits. It's hard to tell because it's easier to tell actually if you sit every day and then you can see how it becomes better or worse, you know? But I don't know enough to know. So we can still try to sit longer tomorrow and then see what happens.
Sit longer.
Theaters are enjoying this talk now. The way
Yeah.
There is time when I sit and I have a pain, and sometimes I have to sit longer to get it healed.
Right.
There is time that it's there and you sit one time, it didn't go away. You sit again, it didn't go away. And I remember the first time I sat and my back, I have weak back when I first started out sitting full lotus. And the first thing, the first pain that I got was the back. It was so severe. And then I just say do die kind of thing. So I just sat until I passed the pain barrier.
Right.
And then the next time I sat, it pain again. And then I said, I thought I passed the pain barrier. It's to heal that area, right? But not to say that the layers.
Correct.
That first you pass the first layer, and then next time continue healing that area.
Right.
So it just continue until you sit many times for it to fully recover. So in his and also I have an experience where when I sat and the energy just stuck there.
Right.
And I get up too fast and the energy stayed with me for months. It didn't clear it out. It's better that it just stuck right here. And it just couldn't clear it out until like months later. So I just continue to sit until it's clear eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in my case, I'm a little crazy because people say you set
That's
an hour.
That's not what they want to hear, Francis. I'm just joking. Yeah, so like she's right because she said often enough that she did observe those patterns, which I didn't really describe because everyone is kind of different. So that's why I normally would say, let's try to sit longer and see what happens, because there's a lot of reasons why. And I can iterate all the different cases to you. And this is where it requires your face to say, okay, let's just sit longer and then see if it clears out. And most of the time it would, okay? And if it doesn't, tough luck. No, I'm just kidding. But you can, most of the time it would, okay? And it takes a couple of tries. So you kind of have to bear that pain. And trust me, if you can't fix it right now, when you're older, the problem is there, okay? Normally, right now, you encounter something where it's painful. For example, like there's a weakness in your knee, and if you sit long enough, that push through, you helps it strengthen your knees. Then you kind of reverse that problem. But if you don't do anything, you don't sit, and then actually when you're older, it will show up. It will show up in your body. So at one point it will show up. The problem is there. Sitting only allow it to manifest earlier, which is a good thing in a way that you shouldn't be afraid of, because the problem is already there. And by crossing your legs, it's attacking that problem. That's why you can see it, okay? Instead of, and eventually through aging, it will happen. You will see it there. You will have to fix it one way or another. It could be through going to the doctors, going through acupuncture, but this is the most natural way to fix it. Yes.
I was just, according to what you said, that you had that pain, and then you passed the pain barrier, and when you went again, the pain was worse than before.
No, it wasn't worse, but it's there.
Yeah.
So I was surprised, and I asked Master, I said, I thought it's, it should be here and go to the next blockage or something. And Master said, like an onion, it's layer and layer and layer until it cleared out.
Yeah, because when I went to my second Vipassana course, I thought, well, this is going to be easier because the first one was so terrible and I was in so much pain, but I was able to manage through it. Now it's going to be, I'm going to build up on top of it. Actually, the second one was even worse. And what I was explained was exactly that. Like you build one layer, but then another comes up, stronger again, and you need to keep on pushing it. And it depends on what comes up, and you just go through it.
Right, correct. It's just something you have to go through. And the fact that they come up is it's more helping to for you to deal with your karma. That's already there. Right now you're just not seeing it, but the karma is there.
It's what they
Yes.
explained to me.
Yes.
It's like keep going, you're clearing.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Yes.
keep going.
Yes. So part of doing Chan is to choose to deal with what came with you, the karma you have right now. That's where I was going towards. The endure suffering is to end suffering. So once it shows up and you learn to endure it, you actually clears out your problems. The suffering that you were gonna go through anyways. That when you're older, you would just rationalize it and say, oh, it's aging. Oh, I'm getting old. I just have to accept this. I just have to use a cane, or I just have to, get shots, ask the doctor to fix me, things like that. So this is where, by enduring, you actually can reap the benefits of healing yourself and of paying off your debt, your karma. Okay. Do you believe that? In karma. Or enduring suffering is to end suffering.
In a way, it is, yes.
Yeah.
Because you get used to it, so the mind doesn't complain as often. It stays in the background.
It actually heals you. It actually erases it. It's like a paying off. Not just your mind doesn't complain anymore. Yeah. Right. So it's a lot of rationalization. So a lot of time we tend to fall into that. That's why we tell you to sit longer. Yeah, so that you could just get there. By sitting longer, you just kind of says, okay, let's get on the road, because we can describe to you when you drive, and then how it's going to happen, the process where some car is going to cut into you, and then this is when you learn to step on the brake and then avoid it and all that. But it's not until we say, let's just get on the road and just drive and just get there, and then we'll deal with it along the way. And that's why we more focus on not explaining a lot of details about what will happen on the road, but just says, okay, come on, let's just do it. Yeah, do it together. Yes. And then you're here anyways, right? And if this is not the time for you to sit longer, you're probably not going to do it at home.
Yeah, it's more motivating here, sure.
Yes. Yes. So it depends on your needs. I mean, why are you here? So you kind of have to ask yourself, why am I here? Do I just want to feel peaceful? Then sit enough that you feel peaceful, right?
I want to be more present throughout the day.
Okay.
As often as possible.
As often as possible. And have you been experienced that yet or not?
I've been trying several techniques, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Some
And
working temporarily.
temporarily.
Everything is temporary.
Yeah.
Impermanence.
Right. So actually, you need to understand that there's no one way that you learn to be more present. It's actually being constant aware. So, yeah, self-awareness. It's not, there's no one practice will allow you says, okay, once I get there and I'm gonna be always present. Okay, so you have to, yes, you have to practice that daily. And then you have to have enough energy and have enough balance to do that. Yes. So that also requires you to practice daily. Okay. And some days when you get tired of sitting, we have a lot of dharma. You could bowing. I don't know, you've been doing bowing this retreat, so sometimes bowing will help. Okay, you could recite mantras. Okay, so there's actually different types of dharma. You can do, like at the temple, you can do morning ceremonies. Actually, going through ceremonies will help as well. So that would require a lot more faith in Buddhism to go through the morning ceremonies and all that. But that's also another thing that you can do. So it's not just sitting. Sitting is the quickest way, and then it will stay with you. Okay?
In terms of faith that you were mentioning, the faith in the Buddha, how does God fit in with it? Or is it the same or different? Or...
How does God fit in with this?
I don't know, the concept of God. And I'm not meaning religiously speaking.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Are you? Huh? What? I didn't hear that.
He was yawning.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, do you believe in God?
Yeah, there's something. I believe that there's something, but I believe the Buddha attained that something as well. So it's whatever. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit blurred. My mixed feelings. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. God.
Depends on the concept behind it as well. The concept that you put behind the words.
They're not concepts to me, actually. God is God. Buddha is Buddha. Okay. And it's, to me, it's, I was actually raised Christian because my mom goes to church. She's not that devoted, but there's that ritual to go to church when I was younger. And I remember when I was young, when I want something, I would pray to God. I would say, dear God, please allow me to get this, this gift that I always wanted, things like that. Or I would pray to God when I was younger for things, or pray for safety. To me, God exists. And when I was younger, they still do. And somehow, when I got older, I started going to fellowships and I don't know if it's good to speak about this here, but I became skeptical because of the way that churches were running, or the people that I was there that.
But that's the thing. To me, church is something entirely different from God. I see it.
Correct. So that's my concept of God. I wouldn't call it as a concept. I see it as God exists. Okay, and I came to Buddhism, and then I see it as there is also Buddha and there's Guanyin. Okay, and they're all there, and it's what you choose to believe. So it's more the power comes within you. I don't understand them as something theoretical, and then should I choose to believe it or not? You know, I know they exist. So to me, it's like, oh, they're there. It's just whether I want to believe or not.
Well, Carl Jung has on the front of his office, of his door, either you like it or not, God is here.
Right.
To all his patients.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
But when you're saying it, you're still kind of like, it's still like a concept to you.
I am trying to intertwine all these concepts alongside with the new discoveries in science, you know, and
Right.
that are, you know, because not that long ago they got a couple of neurons out of someone out in a petri dish. They connected it to a microchip, and that microchip to a computer, and the neurons out of nowhere started playing a game from the 70s. So how does those neurons get, and they describe it as getting to this awareness that can be also called God, that the all knowing things. So it's like consciousness is rare and all that, and I'm in a mixed.
Yeah. So maybe I can help you out a little bit. There's a difference between the way you're talking about it right now and the way I'm talking about it right now. The way you're talking about it right now is, I'll put it simply, that you don't believe in it and there are concepts to you. Okay, so the way you're asking the question, and I'm analyzing it for you, is that they're all concepts, and then there's neurons, there's all these things where so do you see the difference?
The thing is, there these discoveries that are coming up,
Yes.
kind of contradict my inner beliefs.
Okay. How so? How does it
contradict in a way? I mean, there's truth in it, yes, but I think there's more to it. I can't explain to you, but the experiences I've been having and all that during my meditations and stuff, it's, there's Buddha, there's all that, and then there's God in a certain way. In a
So there's the spirituality there, that it's already there, and then you can feel it, which you can't describe. But there's also the science, that the sciences are the people who are needed something that they can see. Therefore, they do those experiments, and then they have studies to say, hey, you know, they do exist because this is what you can see. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was for more than 20 years working in a university, in a science university, next to science and all those fixed minds. And for the past 15 years that I was there, I was also discovering all these other areas and trying to intertwine it and trying to dismiss what is esoteric and, you know, fairy tales and unicorns and new age things, and trying to combine it all. So it's, but then there's the experience, the things that you go through, and you cannot put words to it because you can't. It's very different.
So what I'm trying to say is that you need to trust your experiences, okay? And that's what we call faith in spirituality, is that, or responses. Sometimes we call it responses because when you do and practice, you can feel it. It's in you. You actually don't need science to tell you what it is or not. Science are for the people who needs to see and then in order to believe. There's a lot of things in this world, if you learn about religions, you can't see, and they do exist. So to me, people who practice science are actually missing pieces that they're trying so hard to find a way to prove things that they can't see, and in order to tell themselves that, okay, I'm gonna believe in this because now I have evidences, okay? But if you just go inside of yourself and stay in tune with your inner self, you know it's there. Does that make sense? Does that help you? Yeah, okay. So that's more what spirituality is about. That's why you're practicing it. Because through practices, you know they're there. And that's how it reinforces your faith. Yeah? Sounds good? Okay. How are you doing? Yeah, because I know she's new here, so I want to see how you feel since day one here.
Well, I came here with a burst rib.
Oh.
So the bowing in the start was
hard,
painful.
painful.
Yeah, I'm new.
Uh-huh.
What can I say? I don't know.
How's the sitting experience besides that it's uncomfortable? Painful?
Yeah, like I've done meditation retreat also, but it was just like normal sitting. And for me, yeah, I don't know, my left leg is less flexible. So I feel like that my body is protesting a little bit. But I didn't notice when we're not meditating during the day that I feel really good actually. So it actually helps me. And I really feel that I take it on my own pace here. So
cool.
It works for me. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Just checking in. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else? 9:44. Okay. Yes.
I don't know if I can describe very well, but I feel that meditation for me helped me to like feel more secure, but in the way that I noticed before that we have. I don't know. For example, we have a structure of family, but when we become adults, it's supposed that we are independent and we are alone, and that maybe it's a Western question that we are so individualist that I feel that I'm a little bit have to enfront the world alone, something like that. And the meditation makes me feel that I'm not alone, or I'm more with me.
Okay. Yeah. Really? Oh. More secure.
Less afraid, maybe.
Less afraid. Yeah. More what? Confident. More confident. Okay. Good. It actually feels like you have more substance here, right? So when problem hits you, you feel like you're solid. Yeah, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, so you actually have enough to grow and to, you don't feel as vulnerable, and then more not as fragile. Yeah, so that comes within, you're building a core in yourself, that, and then you can trust your inner, you can trust yourself more actually, right? Yeah, and then you can deal with your emotion better. Yes, it builds over time.
It's very nice. Sometimes I feel like, now I can be a better mother because I feel like I'm a baby until
Yeah. Okay, great, great, great. Yeah, yeah. You're actually growing when your samadhi improves. Your mind is actually growing in age. So Master kept saying that, all the samadhi levels. So when you can work towards it, you work really hard towards it. Good thing doesn't come easy. Okay, so what we're doing here is not easy because the reward is much bigger. Okay, so it's not what everybody does, because obviously we're not selling something for you to be ordinary. Okay, so it doesn't come easy, and when you work hard to obtain the spirituality, you grow in your mind and you can see things better. So we often use like system upgrades as an example. It's like computer needs to be system upgrade. You're upgrading yourself, but you're upgrading in your spirituality. That's the most important part. That's what most people are ignoring nowadays, and then going for things that they can see, and or which is different from it. It's to strengthen your inner core instead of that regular people believes in, wearing better clothes or putting on more makeup to look better. But this is more giving you that inner strength in you by sitting, that you're stronger. Yes, yes, that's good. Yeah. Very good. Anything else?
Me?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see how I can motivate you to sit longer.
Maybe a new instruction.
New instruction and
Sit more time.
sit long time. Or speaking in Portuguese.
I'm curious. So when he said he doesn't have any pain,
He probably does have pain. Yeah. I'm not sure what, yeah. Yeah. Haven't set to a point where your mind feels better. That's more what the pain barriers that I'm talking about. That once you pass the pain barriers, you actually go, wow, the pain is still there, but you're able to handle it better without complaining. It happened.
I managed to focus on, I don't know, nothing, air or something. And if I managed to keep it for like 5 minutes, and then I lose the concentration power, and then the excruciating pain comes back again. There's moments, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not quite the pain barrier that I'm talking about, what you just described. Yeah. So, yeah, you need to keep at it.
My experience is already some time ago, but it's also very painful. But if you keep on, and then in the end you get some bodily
The difference, yes, yes.
And it's not necessary that the pain goes away completely.
Right.
It changes the sensation.
Right.
But it's very difficult. You don't.
Initially, yeah.
You get to that point one right away. It takes a lot of time and faith in the instructions and.
Yes.
And also often maybe you don't realize where you are till maybe you slack off and then a couple of months later or something, then you think, oh, you build up something, and if you stop the practice, then you have to start all over again.
Correct. You all made it sound worse for him.
I know, I stopped practicing for a bit, and then when I resumed, it ends up catching up for a long time. Like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yes, Isa.
To me, I feel like something that helped was looking at, because in the beginning I was questioning myself a lot, like, but what is Chan really? I would ask Matilda, like, okay, but we're sitting, but what is Chan? And I
know the answer.
I had a hard time grasping this, and then I feel like I was kind of getting obsessed with sitting longer in the posture, and I would feel defeated if I couldn't sit longer and everything. And then I had this period of time where I wasn't sitting because of my leg or whatever. And then we were always talking about this, like the other part of the practice, like the precepts, or trying to become a gooder person, or the wisdom. And I think for me it helped a lot to integrate these three parts together, and to know that even when I'm not able to do my best in the posture, or even if I couldn't sit today because I didn't have time, I'm always still practicing with these other tools, yeah. So that's where I find consistency, where when I cannot find the consistency in the posture.
Yes. Okay. But basically, just keep going.
And look, besides the posture, yeah, like
Yes.
everything else, like why are we doing the posture? And for me, something that changed a lot in the last year or two was I just started to look at my relationships differently. For example, my relationship with my mother or my father, and starting to change this mindset to, okay, I've been receiving all my life, and now I want to kind of
Give back.
Yeah, give back, and then everything starts integrating. So
Yeah.
And
Yes.
also alongside, you never quit it.
Right. So in the end, it's not quitting. There's that fear of pain. So a lot of times you are, when I say sit longer and the mind says, I don't like it, like, it's actually a rejection of wanting to go through the pain. And then there's like a fear in there for enduring it. So you have to learn it's helping you face fear. Fear is a very fundamental feeling that in all human beings. So if you're able to grind it out, it helps work on your fear as well. Okay, there's always that fear of what's gonna happen next to me. And if I do this, like when is it gonna, there's that fear inside of not wanting to facing it. Okay, so it's also working on your fear. So how many reasons I've given now? to sit longer.
For me, sometimes I notice especially in the beginning, I was looking for a reward. So I see people, they follow instructions, they say, this is so good, this is so good. And for some time, I was kind of like, so I want to be like that too. So I apply, I have interest, not necessarily want to be a better person. I want some kind of reward. But then I figure out maybe it doesn't work like that for me. So now what I observe is what I say to myself is if not sitting is even harder because my life gets very messy. So for me, the motivation is I know if I don't practice, cultivate anything, not necessarily sitting, at least have to, even just one bow, one day I'm very busy, whatever, traveling, even just one bow. I feel like I'm missing, I'm not as the best version of myself. So I always try to look at this way. So it's not that sitting is hard, it's that life is much harder if you don't do anything about it.
Right, right, right. Exactly. Yeah, you have to see what makes you, in a way, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Yeah, like what is that you really need and want in putting the time in doing this? And once, you know, like you said, you want to be more present, more self-aware, yes. And that comes within upgrading yourself, basically, yeah. And then there's a lot more to it than just being self-aware, you're right? In order to achieve that, there's all your emotions that's stuck with you that you haven't resolved. That's kind of dragging you down there. You kind of have to work those out first in order to get to in order to be able to improve and build more awareness. You know, there's all these things that needs to happen in order for you to be more self-aware. And it takes time to work on them all. It's not just gonna be, you know, if I go through this, I'll be more self-aware, or I just control my environment, it's easier to be more self-aware, but life is not controlled, life is not fair, and things just gonna keep happening around you. You have no control over. So the only way is to build your core, okay? In a way, for me, when I started practicing, I got to a point where initially I didn't like crossing my legs as well. I was just, you know, complaining same time, and I didn't even want to go to a class. After a while, I go, oh, what's the point? You just have to keep enduring pain, and then what? You know, that also was went through my mind as well, but I lost my train of thoughts. Well, I think what I find was, in the end, I realized I look everywhere else and there's no better solutions. I just tell myself, okay, now I have no choice. This is where I have to come back to. And then might as well just grind it out and then see where it takes me. So in the end, I just said, oh, I surrender. I'll just come back and do this. And eventually I figure itself out. Actually, we are teaching you stretchings. Oh, I don't know if I told the stories before. We're teaching you stretchings and mantra recitation and everything. When I first met Master, he was in a living room. He talked about this before. If you listen to his Dharma talk enough, he was in a living room which can only fit maybe like 7 people at most. And then like in a, you know, kind of sitting next to each other. And then he says, my way of, you know, saving space is to tell people just cross your legs. And then without giving you any instructions. And then people who can immediately cross, he goes, good, you have Mahayana blessings. And then, of course, I was the one who goes, put my left leg on, and it was this high. And I go, okay, so what is that supposed to mean? And then he sort of just like, you know, doesn't give you anything further. He just says, just cross your legs. And then obviously I can't, so I wouldn't cross my legs. So I would put it on for a while, and then I'll put it down. But then he says, well, for my class, you have to cross your legs. So he never actually taught me how to get into full lotus from half. So I figured it out by trial and error over time myself, because I like what he was saying, and whatever he was preaching or he was talking about rings true in me. So I go, oh, I want to come back. I want to go back, but then when I'm sitting there with others, I feel embarrassed that I'm not crossing my legs. So I had to cross my legs. Yeah. So it's not until like 8 months later that I was able to get into full lotus. And I sort of figured it out myself in a way, but I keep trying. There's no one talking to me on the side, showing me stretchings or, oh, actually I ran into one doctor, showed me some kind of stretching, helping a little bit, but Master never really gave me separate instructions. And then he just said, well, tough luck. I don't need that many people here. I don't need you. You need me. That's more how I got here today. So you have to ask yourself, why I'm here, and then what is that I want? Okay. All right, time is up. My goal is to help you so you can sit more. And then I'm happy to sit with you also more than 1 hour for brave souls. We can try to do it tomorrow if you want to sign up for it. And then you can cry and scream, There's no problem with me at all. I have people who wanted to throw things at me too. So I went through a lot of it. So if you're interested, we can try to do it, schedule a time to do it tomorrow, which is the last day. Okay? I don't know, maybe when would be a good time?
9:40.
9:40?
9:40, we have silent meditation up until noon. We have the Dharma talk at noon, so we have from 9:40 to noon.
Okay. So we can do 9:40 actually, and then we can try to because we have not as many people, so we can sit in circles. And then if new people come, then we can have another group where Francis can help. We can explain more, because I find it hard to, when it's bigger settings, it's hard to get everyone to, sit longer. So we can use tomorrow 9:40 as a time for you to push to your next goal, and then it's all up to you. Okay, you can set a goal for tomorrow, and then we can do it together.
What about those that cannot do a full lotus?
Then you can do half lotus, but still extend your time. Yes. It doesn't have to be full lotus, but the point is to sit longer. Yeah? Okay? Sounds good? Okay, let's do it tomorrow. All right, thank you.